Okay, I'm here with Kuassi, and we're laughing about the title of his application. We're here at ARMAG. It's Near Real-Time In-Database Analytics with Hadoop and SQL.
Right.
Okay, explain why you chose that title to me.
I wanted to give hard time to people to remember. No, but seriously, I want to express the purpose of the talk, which is how do you do near real-time analytics? For example, how do you refresh your analytics? Because you're already in the database, you have access to the database, as opposed to shipping data out, which will be like a stale or behind your real data. So that's what I want to stress. I want to stress the fact that being running in the database, you can refresh at any time and get near real time.
Okay, and so why is it not just real time? I mean, it's in the database. The database is really fast.
Sure, it's not real time because Hadoop is not, I mean, the MapReduce function is not interactive. It's a batch process.
Okay.
There are new processing models in Hadoop ecosystem which are interactive. In that case, you use some query, for example, Spark, SQL, Hive, QL, Oracle Big Data, SQL, for example. Those are interactive and direct real-time analytics. And I recommend people to look at my other presentation on Oracle Table Access for Hadoop.
Excellent. So now one of the things that you did in this presentation that I thought was really interesting was how you showed how people could use their Hadoop functions, load them up into Oracle, and then actually use those functions in Oracle. And actually, the other interesting point that you made was that DBAs could just run a select statement and query it from SQL after those were loaded up. And it seemed like it was really only 3 files, one of them being a config file, and really only a couple of lines of change for that config file.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that and just what that brings to the table?
Right. We wanted to simplify the life of database developers and DBAs, because we're running on Oracle database. First of all, remember, people are having hard time to find skills to install, config, and tune Hadoop cluster. So it's not the same animal as your database. So your DBA cannot administer a Hadoop cluster without training. Now, because Oracle in-database container for Hadoop is running in the database, well, we want to make the life of everybody using Oracle database easier, which is your DBA does not need to learn some other framework or whatever it is. They can just use the tools they are familiar with. Database developer, same thing. By exposing Hadoop function through SQL, anybody in your company who can use the SQL script can leverage functions built by 1 or 2 guys who know Java. So you don't need everybody to know Java or Hadoop. You only need a couple of guys that build the functions, and everybody else can use those.
So you mentioned that you needed a 12C database. You needed Java 7?
Correct.
And you also, one of the guys asked a question about parallel query, because you mentioned it in your talk. Anywhere parallel query runs, this is going to run, is that correct?
That's a very good point. People was wondering, oh, can this scale, like 50,000 or 600 cluster? I said, no, it's within one Oracle database. Okay, so one Oracle database could mean one machine or a rack cluster. So as long as it is within the reach of parallel query, because remember, our architecture do not use Hadoop infrastructure inside the database. We use database infrastructure, including the parallel query, the in-database the Java VM, the embedded JVM inside the database. So that's why our scope is a database in an Oracle database, which means rack cluster, of course. Single machine, of course.
And the other thing I liked about it is you made the point of, look, nobody's actually going to pay for a database machine and use it for Hadoop. This is really about using the excess capacity in your database. Yes. So you can actually start a prototype, test out your existing Hadoop functions, and then, you know, once you've proven, yes, this is bringing real value, you can scale it out to your cluster.
Right. If the primary purpose is analyze data and do a Hadoop 24/7, you need to buy Big Data Appliance, BDA. That's our Hadoop cluster. So what we're saying is container for Hadoop is a pragmatic, it's not strategic, it's a technical, you know, tactical way of offloading some of your Hadoop work on the database because you have excess capacity over there.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Kuassi, for your time, and good luck with your next presentation.
Thank you, Todd.